Value Coffee Talk podcast.
Hi, I'm April Morley. I'm co-founder of Genius Drive and the Enterprise Value Collective.
And I'm Tom Pacello, the ROI guy.
This podcast is a service of the Enterprise Value Collective, a community for business value-focused leaders and practitioners, and is sponsored by our value consultancy, Genius Drive.
And our mission with the Enterprise Value Collective is to help accelerate and optimize the value articulation in each of your customer engagements and throughout your customer lifecycle. And we've got a special guest for us today, a longtime value practitioner, Giuliano Da Silva. Welcome.
Oh, thank you. Nice being here. Thank you for having me. Yes.
Giuliano is Senior Director of Value Consulting for Genesys. That's a customer experience platform company. And as I said, he's a longtime value practitioner, longtime value leader. And we're going to tap his experience today in an area that I know is of interest to a lot of people. It's one of my missions is how do we become better value storytellers, and what the heck is value storytelling? So that's kind of one of the first questions I've got for you is tell us a little bit about your program and kind of how it got started at Genesys.
Oh, geez. Yeah. It's,
a little history.
Yeah, it's a little bit of history, right? Our program actually started, I would say at Genesys, the process of value selling or leveraging financial selling in a way started in 2006. Our official internal program, because before we were actually leveraging an outside firm to help us with that. Our internal formal program actually started in 2011, and we started by, basically rolling out simple financial analysis, business benefit analysis in support of our offers to customers and prospects out there. So it was basically out of a need of having to expand on financial selling in a way, and that I would say the process of transitioning from financial selling to value selling, came a little later, but yeah, 2011 is when it all started.
So it sounds like, from what we've heard, the program has been very successful. And I hear that there was a moment when you recognized an opportunity to improve the customer value engagements. Can you share more about that?
Yes, I think we started moving specifically from financial selling to, I would say, more on the value selling side of it. More specifically because we needed to be able to tell or a better story out of our offers. It's as simple as that, right? And so there was a lot of effort around doing very, I would say, improving the business discovery, the technical discovery. I would say the overall sales force has started to understand how important it was not only to be able to tie the business story to the technical requirements, to the financial viability analysis, to be able to actually bring it all together for the customer in a really nice way. So there was this need of tying everything a little better, but also the need to scale at it, right? So it is something that takes an effort. So there was, I would say, across multiple teams at Genesys, there was this effort to try and standardize on things, automate some of the things that we were doing in terms of designing a solution and understanding the value of that solution, expressing the value and consequently the financials of that solution, that bespoke solution for customers, right? So I think at some point the understanding was, numbers are just numbers if you don't have a story to attach it to it. Right? So the numbers, they have to support a very specific business outcome that the customers are looking for.
Yeah, and making sure that's tied to big strategic initiatives and big challenges that they're having. I remember, Giuliano, when we first engaged a while back, I had the pleasure of working with you directly on some of the programs. And I can remember the size of the spreadsheet and the financials, and you guys had built a
Yes.
really impressive model, and the financials were great. And you could use it. I think there were 170 benefits because the product line was so big
Yes.
and covered so many areas of customer experience, the call center, and everything else behind it. Um, and you didn't present all 170 benefits. Obviously, it was with the scope of the solution. Um, but this is and that's what I'm getting at. It's you've got to have the really good, credible, detailed financial justification, and you have to pull together good value storytelling. And I wondered from you, like, what does value storytelling mean to you? Like, what are the elements that you think you need to have to be able to tell that great value story?
Yes, I think, so by the way, 100 and something value calculators at the time. I think right now we kind of doubled on that. We are close to
Oh my goodness.
250 value
My
calculators
eyes were
that we employ.
squinting just thinking about what we went
Yes,
through,
exactly,
Giuliano.
right? but I think for us, a really important point is that we understand our customers are going to have to build a business case.
Mhm.
And in the process of building that business case, as they start gaining more and more specific perspective over their solution, they start to define a little better what that solution is and consequently what it is that they are building that solution for. We want them to be able to basically consolidate three conversations, right? So what are your business strategic goals? Some of the challenges to achieve those goals. What are the technical requirements that you have for the solution? We have to make sure that we understand that you're going to be evaluating quite a few options in terms of how to achieve those goals. So we want to make sure that for each and every one of those options, you're also considering the financials, the viability
Mhm.
of them. So being able to facilitate that for our customers is basically the reason why we have so many value calculators, and our tools are built in a way that we can just open everything and they pick and choose which ones are adequate as they evaluate what options they have. So the last piece that we believe needs to come together is once the solution is defined and maybe the financial supported the decision, we uh, we basically produce the financial viability analysis, having a component of business benefits, having a component of total cost. So I think one important thing that I believe is a differentiating aspect of our value analysis is that basically all of our calculators are bottoms up, right?
Mhm.
So we don't have top down calculators. It's basically all of them. Let's understand your operations. Let's understand the change that our software is going to cause on that operation, and consequently what is the impact and what is the value of that impact, whether it is savings or additional revenue, risk mitigation, experience, and so on, right? So there's a multitude of angles, or I would say that I would say value areas that we would basically express the value. But again, it's really about tying all the components, business, technical, and financial together. And I think, at the end of the day, a really good story um, is a story that not only ties all of this with a very specific business outcome in mind, but I think it's and maybe that's the part that is not necessarily easy for everyone out there, is taking the customer through that journey with you,
Mhm.
right? So it's not only us going through that journey in support of the offer that we are um, building for a customer, but taking the customer on that journey with us, because at the end of the day, they are also they're going to have to tell that story themselves, right?
Mhm.
So the story is at the end of the day being constructed for them, not just in support of our offer, right?
Yeah, I love what you said. So you approached it from business, technical, and financial. And I think one of the missing things that you didn't say is who is involved in that. Because when you say it's business, financial, and technical, that tells me it's maybe the sales team and maybe it's the sales engineering team. I'm curious kind of like who's involved, and is it throughout the customer life cycle? But could you share more about that?
Yes, it is. We are going to find with the business that we have today that we're going to find a lot of these motions actually starting in support of new logo, new customers for Genesys,
Mhm.
but also happens, at the moment of renewals of contract, when we start working with our customers for them to understand if they are using our software really well. So the value story is not necessarily just constructed at the sales, but also in support of adoption, in support of expansion. We have customers that have engaged with us during a sales process, and we are part of their regular KBRs, where we are basically evaluating opportunities for them to expand the utilization of the software, and the engagement is pretty similar.
Mhm.
It's basically the same type of support that we offer to those customers, so that way they continue to be happy with the software they acquired. I think from our point of view, you are going to see that we have always a group that comes together, huddles around the customer to support with that. There's always going to be, of course, the account is active. We are going to have some sort of a business consultant. You're going to also employ the solutions engineer. Many times you're going to find a value consultant being part of this process. Consequently, if we are talking, to current customers, customer success managers are also all using our tools, right? So I think the the next step in I would say the next code to crack, I would say, for us is really, how do we scale at this? How do we automate at this process in a way that we are standardizing the practice? For us over here at Genesys Value Consultants, we are perceived more as coaches, right? So we are basically just trying to enable everybody across the company to be able to use the tools, use the value storytelling, and so on. So yeah, it's yeah, I understand that many times when you talk about value consulting, value programs out there, you're going to find, okay, some organizations are trying to staff the right size of a value consulting or a value program team, right? For us, we believe the real solution is not to really throw bodies at it. For us, the
Mhm.
solution is to basically instill in everybody the mindset of expressing value and telling the value story in support of whatever function they execute towards the customers.
Yeah,
So that's a
Giuliano, and
challenge, but
yeah,
that's the idea.
yeah. I think that many are facing budget constraints when it comes to sales support in general and value consulting in particular. So taking that approach to where you've got the toolkit and the model and the automation built out is a good element. On the value storytelling side, what did you do there to kind of institutionalize that in a way so that you had content that people could use, and then also um, onboarding sellers and others to do value storytelling? Sometimes that's not native. We know financial justification isn't native, so you got to train and you got to have the tools.
Yeah,
What did you put in place for value storytelling to scale that?
I think just like everything else, right? So if you're talking about starting a new program, that the corporate program will have to have an investment,
Mm-hmm.
and that investment has to be tracked, right? So in a way, for us, it was to express the satisfaction from our customers in the support that we offer to them. It was to express the satisfaction from our sellers and our customer success managers as they use the assets that we develop for them, the
Mm-hmm.
support that we give them. And at the end of the day, are we bringing the results to the company, right? So comparing, for instance, sales engagements that actually involved value selling versus sales engagements that did not. Where are we tracking with those, right? So for us, it was really bringing the proof that it was a program worth investing. Yeah. It's as simple as that. It's just like any other
Yeah.
program.
I loved what you said earlier about value coaching for the organization, and that your primary role is a coach. And I think, the relationship that a value consulting team has with their peers across all different teams, whether it's customer success, marketing, sales engineering, all across the board, that relationship is, I would say, generally helpful when it's more peer to peer, but I haven't seen that in every situation. So I'm curious how you've approached the relationship building with the field to be able to have that value coaching.
I think you're going to find that when it comes to enablement coaching, yes, you have all of this. We hold training events, and we try to pass a lot of knowledge on the tools and how to use, how to storytell, and all of that. But it is literally when we actually engage on supporting, let's say, for instance, an account team, that knowledge solidifies, that we are able sometimes to bring the best practices, that we are able to maybe react to a challenge in a different way that maybe the account team did not perceive even possible before, right? Sometimes I'm going to be very candid over here, being able to stand in front of a buyer that is absolutely grilling you on the financials and on the details of the analysis, right? So I think credibility goes a long way. But I would say something that actually cultivates a really good relationship with the sales force is the commitment to be part of the team. Let's go and work this together, and basically engage with the customer, face the challenges together, just be there and support them with whatever they need. Sometimes being creative, sometimes being, I would say, a little more rigid with some of the rules, right? But nevertheless, being supportive of the process and the challenges that they are facing. The one-on-one experience with the sales team is really what solidifies the relationship and the importance of the program.
Yeah. Giuliano and April, you're hitting on a big point there, which is we don't want to be perceived in kind of value consulting, value engineering, as much as we can as a service desk of just, hey, dial me up and here's a business case, business case for $1 kind of thing. It needs to be much more about coaching, scaling, because we don't have probably enough people to support the whole organization. So how do you scale effectively? And then Giuliano, as you said, having those great financials and making sure that there's a technical kind of reason behind those to back it up, but also making sure you got that business story to tell, I think is a big one. So thank you so much. One of the things we'd love to get is, if there's one thing you'd like for our Enterprise Value Collective to take away today from what we talked about, Giuliano, what is that?
That's an interesting question. I think something that is absolutely not easy to do is when it comes to value storytelling, the story to be told is not yours, it's the customer.
Love it.
It's the customers. So being able to relate to the customer, put yourself in their shoes, do the proper discovery, do the proper analysis, be that advisor that becomes with the relationship that becomes trusted, and basically empowers, educate, enables. I think that's really key, and that to do it once is not easy. To do it on a scale, it's absolutely more difficult, right? So it's but I would say that's that's really it. That's basically what I believe it delivers success to companies like ours out there.
Yeah, it's so easy to fall into the trap of, we've got a great solution and we know it and we're here to be the heroes. And that's not the case. Every good story has a hero, and that hero needs to be our customer.
Yeah.
And then we also like to say it needs a villain, it needs purpose, and it needs to have a shape too. So we've got a little guide of that in the community and the insights to check out on storytelling. So be sure to look that up too. But Giuliano, thank you so much for participating in this value.
Thank you for joining.
Such a pleasure speaking to both of you. And good luck out there, not only to the two of you, but all the community.
Absolutely. Please sign up if you haven't done so yet to the Enterprise Value Collective, the EVC. You can do that on LinkedIn in our LinkedIn group or on our geniusdrive.com website. That'll enable you to stay in touch with us on the latest events, the latest tools, the latest insights. And please hit like on this podcast if you liked it. Sign up so you can be updated on the latest episodes. And until next time, our Enterprise Value Collective, keep sharing and growing together.